And we welcome you to Carelli's of Boulder. It is show number 1 of the 2024-25 Colorado basketball season. Always good to be here. Underway, at least a game into a Big 12 conference play. Buffaloes come through their non-conference slate at 9-3, drop their opener, number 3. Iowa State here the other night. Now getting ready to take off on the road this week. We're going to be down in, well, we're making a Pac-12 trip, actually. Down to Tempe to take on Arizona State. Then off to Central Florida. It's going to take us a while to get into those traditional Big 8, Big 12 teams. Coming up on the show tonight, we are going to talk with the head coach, Tad Boyle. The women are on the road. They opened up their road slate yesterday, dropping a close one to number 11 TCU. They stayed on the road. They're at Baylor on Saturday. And so today during our player segment, Trevor Baskin is going to join us, and he'll be with us for a couple of segments today. And so that's what's coming up on the program. Always good to be back here at Carelli's. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Doing great. Yeah, Carelli's is a great spot, isn't it?
Best.
Huh?
How was your New Year?
New Year was good.
Yeah?
Yeah, the holidays were great.
Right.
Kids were in, and fortunately they're leaving in a couple days.
Okay,
So
fortunately. Okay. Does Ann feel the same way about that?
No, Ann
Yeah.
feels, and it's unfortunate for Ann. But
Be honest with me now. Did you make it to midnight on New Year's Eve?
we tried. We gave it a good shot. 11:30. Kids did make it to midnight.
Wait a second.
but
You
we
made
did
it
not.
till 11:30, and
Yeah.
you didn't make it the last 30 minutes?
Oh, my eyes were getting heavy.
Yeah.
They were getting heavy. Yeah, that's. I'm actually kind of a late night guy, but
Right.
Ann is not. I was more proud of her than I was of myself. But we tried.
Are you a resolution guy?
No, I'm not a resolution guy because I just disappoint myself. I do that enough in my life. I don't. I'm a basketball coach.
There you
so
go,
I don't need to do it in other parts of my life.
I saw a great meme a couple of days ago when the calendar flipped. It was a shot of a Dairy Queen sign, which you got just down the hallway here. And it said, destroying your New Year's resolution since 1962. So
I love it. Yeah, that's
kind of how we all feel about it.
I've hit this Dairy Queen a few times on the way home.
No doubt about that. All right. How you feeling about your squad right now?
Well, I feel good. I like our team. I like coaching our guys. I've said that at the beginning of the year. I still feel it, even after a tough loss against Iowa State. They're a good group that is competitive. They try their best. They are very coachable, and they compete. Our guys really compete. I thought our fight and our we scratched and we clawed, and we just didn't play well enough against Iowa State to win that game. But I like our team. I like coming to the gym every day. There's no what I call knuckleheads on our team. They're all great guys. I mean, you'll get a chance to see the kind of people we have when Trevor's here and doing a couple. There's nobody to do 2 segments better than Trevor.
Yeah, good kid.
He's a good kid, and he really likes to talk. But they're a fun group to be around. I really enjoy them.
When you've got a squad like this where there was so much newness, and it's part and parcel of what college athletics is right now. You and I were just talking about that. Is it do you enjoy the process of coaching groups like this? Because last year you had guys you knew what they were. They were first-round NBA draft picks. Do you like a team like this?
I do. Every team has its own challenges, Mark. Sometimes when you have a team that's a bunch of veterans and guys that have been in a program, you fight complacency. There's always some sort of human nature that you're fighting in coaching. And with a new team with, 7 returning players and 6 new players. It's kind of a mix of the young with the old. And the difference is the returning players outside of Javon Ruffin and Julian Hammond, the returning players are pretty new.
Sure, they haven't played a lot of minutes.
They haven't played like R.J. Smith. And, they've been around maybe for a year or two, but they haven't played a lot in big games. So, we got a unique team with 3 graduate transfers and 3 freshmen, and one of them, obviously, Andrew Crawford's redshirting. But we're an older team that's inexperienced.
Yes.
Because, Trevor is much, he's played 4 years of college basketball. Elijah Malone, 4 years of college basketball. Obviously, Andrei Yakimovsky's played 4 years at a high level. But those other 2 have played at different levels. And so, the game the other night against Iowa State, it's Elijah Malone's 4th game like that in his life. Seriously, I mean,
at that level,
at that level, Trevor Baskin is his 4th game. They had 3 in Maui, and the Iowa State game. The rest of them have been kind of, lower level. Get your feet wet, get a feel for Division I basketball type thing, and so we're relatively inexperienced even for being an older team. Yeah. So it's very unique, but every year it's going to be something different. Next, as I look forward to next year's team, we'll have some veteran front court players because we'll have Hassan and BD back hopefully, and and Sebastian Rancic will be back, and then we'll have 5 freshmen.
Sure.
And who knows what will happen in the spring? I mean, it's an interesting time of year to be, or time of your life to be a part of college athletics.
It
Whether
really
you're
is.
a fan, whether you're a coach, whether you're a broadcaster, whatever,
Right.
whether you're a booster, you name it. Like it's very challenging right now.
We're learning every day because it's
every day,
it's
and it
changing.
changes.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
great example. They just came out because of another lawsuit. They came out with because they keep changing the goal line. On us, or the height of the basket if you're using a basketball term, but they keep changing it because now Elijah Malone, because he was an NAIA player, he gets an extra year of eligibility.
Because he played at a lower level.
Because he played at an NAIA level, which is not an NCAA sanctioned level.
So it would not
Trevor
apply to
Baskin, Trevor does not because
Does
he
not.
played Division II, which is overseen by the NCAA. NAIA is not overseen by the NCAA, nor is junior college. It was a junior college kid that sued to get an extra year, and now everybody gets an extra year that played junior college basketball.
You know why I got into sports? So that I wouldn't have to talk about legal issues, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Here we are
Here
now.
we
All
are,
of a sudden, it seems like every day there's something else that comes down the legal pike.
Oh, that's what's running our business.
Right.
It's and that's why the NCAA, their hands are tied because they don't want to get sued again because their record in lawsuits is. If they were judging their record in lawsuits, they'd be fired.
yes, they would. Because I think they're winless.
They're winless.
About this point.
They're over what I say. But so that's it's just an interesting time, and that's what makes it interesting because these judges that are making these rulings, they're affecting
And they don't know if a basketball's blown up or stuffed.
Nope.
Right?
And so schools are affected, conferences are affected, kids are affected. And I talked to Elijah about it the other day. I said, "Hey, it's a good hop for you." I said, the great thing about life and college athletics teaches you this. There are good hops in life.
Yes.
And there are bad hops in life.
He got a good one.
You just got a good hop.
Yeah.
And
He seemed,
take advantage of it.
He's such a low-key guy. If you haven't
God.
did he even react when you told
Well,
him?
he smiled.
Oh, did he?
He smiled, which for Elijah's really it's when he's got a great smile.
Yes.
So,
Hey, you guys wait till he comes as a player guest. you want to talk about you were lifting heavy that night.
Yeah,
right?
I think Troy's gonna have to twist his arm pretty hard to get him here. I don't think he wants a piece of that.
We had him come on a post-game interview, and I think he gave one answer of 3 words. Everything else was 1 or 2 the entire time.
But he's a terrific kid. He just does not like dealing with. I think it's don't take it personal.
Is it me?
No, it's not you.
You sure?
I promise you, it's not you.
All right.
Because when we were talking about media days, says, "Do I have to do this?" I said, "Well, it's part of it. Kind of comes with the territory now." So.
Especially when you play well.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody wants to talk to you.
Hey, speaking of playing well, you know one thing that when you're in my role and I look at your recruiting classes and you get your look at guys and in my head I'm always kind of going, okay, that guy's he's an upper level athlete and he's got a chance. And when I got to admit that when I first saw Julian Hammond, I totally underestimated what kind of player he was going to turn out to be.
Yeah, Mark, we talked about this. We talked about it before we played South Dakota State, who's a good team.
Yes.
And you cannot judge a book by its cover. It's a cliche, right? But and Julian is just kind of the same way. He doesn't wow you with his size.
Yep.
He doesn't wow you with his speed or his athleticism or really. But I'll tell you what he wows you with is his ability to play the game and make plays. And,
He's clever.
He's clever.
He's
and
tough.
He's tough,
Yeah.
and he's got good skill. He's got good feel. He's got a belief in himself. Yeah. And I just believe this when you evaluate players. And Julian was a hard evaluation for us because of all the things I just said. Can he play at this level? And then I called Dave Logan at the football coach at Cherry Creek. I'm like, is this kid? Can we? What do you? He says he's a winner. He's a win. He just wins. He just he's a quarterback on our football team. He's not the fastest. He's not doesn't have the best arm. He just figures out a way to win. And so when you hear that from their coaches, whether it's their football coach or basketball coach, their basketball coach said the same thing. It just gives you a belief. And he's a Colorado kid and. He's going to grow, and we had some really, really frank discussions, Mark, as a staff last spring.
Sure.
And that's one of the nice things about being a head coach is you kind of get to make the decision at the end of the day. But the decisions aren't always easy. But I just said I believe in Julian Hammond, and I do believe this: when kids show you loyalty, we always talk about loyalty and how it's such a great trait in human beings But loyalty better be a two-way street. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And he's really showed loyalty to us by sticking around, didn't go in the transfer portal, didn't complain about his playing time. Obviously, he's playing behind KJ Simpson for the majority of his career,
Right.
with him and behind him. But, he showed a lot of loyalty to us. And guess what? I thought it was incumbent upon me to show loyalty to him.
So you guys were talking about, do we look at a guard of the portal?
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
And it was they were heated discussions
Sure.
at times, but I believe in him, and I believe in Javon Ruff, and I've said that many times. Those two kids, they're both in their fourth years, and so yeah, I think they're doing a very good job. Julian played terrific against Iowa State.
Oh, goodness. So 2 games against Iowa State. He had 20 the first time in
Yeah.
Maui, and now 21 here the other
Yeah.
night. You know what he is? It's a word you don't hear anymore. Back when we were younger, we used to talk about guys that were gamers.
Gamers.
He's a gamer, isn't he?
No question.
Yeah.
That's well put. And he's turned into a pretty good practice player too.
Is he?
Because a lot of times gamers, you think, well, they don't practice very hard.
Sure.
And look, Julian's, he's had some injuries, he's had some sicknesses, throughout his career, but he's a guy now we are counting on night in and night out to produce and to play well, and to do what our team did without Andre Yakimovsky. Being sick and being out. He had the worst stomach bug I think I've seen or experienced.
How are his innards, by the way? Okay?
Yeah, they're better now,
Does it
but
come
they
through?
were. He said, "Coach, I've never been this sick in my." And I tell you what, and I told you, we talked about this
Yeah.
before the game. He's a kid that if he's not feeling well, he's not feeling, because he's got some toughness about him.
Right.
Mentally, physically, he's not going to let a lot of things hold him back or hold him down. But he couldn't hold anything down, so he had to. He couldn't play.
As Ted looked at me in the pregame, he said, "It's coming out both ends."
Yeah.
So that's
And
the
he's
deepest look
got
over that deal. Yeah.
Yeah, and he lost like 5 or 6 pounds.
Oh, geez.
Over 4 days. So yeah.
R.J. Smith is another guy that I tell the story
Yeah.
all the time that last year when we were on the road, we'd have those days in between games in the Pac-12. And we'd be at practice, and at the end of practice, guys had a 3-point shooting contest.
Oh,
I
yeah.
tell everyone, R.J. won them a good percentage of time. Ted, he's shooting like 62% from
I know.
outside the arc right now.
Oh, he's every time he shoots it, I think it's going in, and we got to get him more looks. And talked to our team about that the other day. So yeah, you like to see kids who have faced some adversity and stuck with it and fought through it. I'd never felt worse for a kid than I did RJ last year when he redshirted his freshman year because he knew he probably needed some development. He wasn't to play as much, and then he's so excited for his redshirt freshman year, and then to have the blood clot thing happen, and it just for a kid his age to have to deal with that. I mean, it was tough. It was tough on him, but he's a great kid again, and I can't speak enough about the character of our young man, and I know I say it a lot, and some of these people here have met our players and know our players and followed them, and that's why I think these shows are so great, because you get a chance to hear from them, and you're tired of hearing from me. Maybe Trevor needs to do 3 segments tonight, but
he could fill them.
Yeah, he could, but no, I mean RJ, we have great kids in this program. The ones that you want to cheer for, you want to support them, you want to invest in them, and so that's why I like this team. Can we win at Arizona State on Saturday? I sure as heck hope so, because if we don't, it's not going to be much fun. But I'll go to war with them, because they give you everything they've got.
Yeah, the Buffaloes will take on Arizona State down in Tempe on Saturday. That is a 3:30 pregame, 4 o'clock with the tip-off, the Buffs and the Sun Devils. Going to take our first time out. Trevor's here. We'll talk to him for a couple of segments. One more, though, with Tad after a quick break. We're live at Carelli's. Always come by Carelli's before, after you see you a basketball game, or anytime, and certainly on Thursday nights for Buffs Primetime. Back in a moment. This is Colorado basketball from Learfield. University of Colorado basketball is brought to us by Modelo, a reward for those with a fighting spirit. Modelo brewed for full-time Buffs fans. As we come to you from Carelli's, not far from the CB Vet Center, always a great spot to swing on by. Have yourself some great Italian food. Greg and JT and everyone will take great care of you. We're out here on Thursday nights from 7 until 8 o'clock for Buffs Prime Time. We continue with Tad Boyle. Trevor Baskin's still to come. Hey, tell us a little about Trevor. He's kind of fun to watch, boy.
Yeah, Trevor's a great player. I'm really proud of him. It's watching him transform, since the day he got to campus to today, and it's been fun. And he's made great strides. He really has, Mark. I've coached him hard. I've challenged him. I told him that when we recruited him, like I got like 9 months with you. I got to give you all I got. Yeah. And to his credit, he's been coachable. He wants to learn. Because Trevor's really talented. I mean, obviously he was a great player at Colorado Mesa. And when we recruited him, he had a couple teammates who were walk-ons for us, Isaac Jessup and Owen Kuntz, who I got great respect for as players and as young men when they were here for us. And they said great things about him. His coach said great things about him, and they were all true. Yeah. So he's had to make an adjustment going from the most talented and probably the best player on his team and maybe even in his league. He's a player of the year in the RMAC. And to understand, okay, number one, I'm at a different level. I can play at this level. There's no question about that. But, my teammates now are more talented. And sometimes that's an adjustment. Sometimes high school kids, have to make, because high school players that come to this level, they're surrounded now by really good players. Whereas in high school, they weren't. Or maybe, at Colorado Mesa, they had a hell of a team, don't get me wrong. But, he might have not had the Elijah Malone as a teammate, or an R.J. Smith who's shooting 60% from three. So now you've got to rely on those guys to help make you better, and you've got to try to help make them better. And Trevor's really done that. To see him pass the ball now in games and in practice, he's become a much, much better passer. He's not a black hole anymore.
Anymore, he said.
No, I'm joking. I'm halfway joking when I say that. But my point is, he had to make, because Trevor's, the one thing he's wired to do is to make plays, right. And that's what makes him so great. And the thing he's had to understand is, I don't have to make a great play every time I touch it, and I can't. And sometimes I got to let the offense work. I got to rely on my teammates, and and if we can get to the point where we're making each other better, which I think we're in the process of doing. I really do. We've had some really high assist games, but Trevor is a guy. I've challenged him defensively. He's our best rebounder. Rebounds per minute. So that thing, we value that a great deal. So no, he's having a great year. We've got 19 more games left, and plus hopefully a few more after that with him. But I'm really proud of him. And he's going to have a great senior year. So I can't wait to see what unfolds. But I'm really proud of the fact that he's really done what we've asked him to do, and it hasn't always been easy for him. So
I remember asking you about Derek White when he circled back around and up here, and I said, "Well, did you recruit him coming out of high school?" He said, "Well, he was 6 feet tall or whatever he was.
Yeah,
140.
Yeah.
Did you know who Trevor
we know
was
who
coming out of high school?
Was. Yeah,
and he just needed to develop and grow.
Pomona High School. Yeah, he was really thin, but again, he was a good player in high school. Had great instincts. What's great about Trevor is I remember playing against his dad.
Oh,
and his dad, now we were in our 20s, and his dad was a hell of a player. He played at Colorado Mesa and played for a cup of coffee with the Nuggets for a while. And, so his dad was a hell of a player, and Trevor's got a lot of his dad in him in terms of his toughness, his ability to score the ball. And I knew he could play, and I think he went to the right level to play right away. And that's, it's funny. Owen Kuntz and Isaac Jessup, who I mentioned, who are walk-ons for us, they're now playing at Cal Poly Pomona, Division I school.
Oh, okay.
And having great years as seniors. Now, my conversation with them when they were freshmen was, okay, hey, you can come back to Colorado. You're good enough to play. And by the time you're a junior or senior, you could play for us. Right. But you're probably not going to do it next year or the year after. It's going to be a process. And they both said, Coach, I want to play. Yeah. And they went to Colorado Mesa. They had a great team, and they learned because the only way you learn how to play is to play. Yep. I mean, practice is one thing. And now they're having great senior years at Cal Poly, and Trevor's having a great year here at Colorado, and
awesome.
And so picking the right level coming out of school is so important for kids, and
sure.
people don't understand Division II basketball. The Army is a good league. I mean,
very good.
Derek
yep.
White. I mean, Trevor.
Yes.
We saw Trevor.
Yep.
There's a kid at Wyoming that played in the RMAC that's having a great year. Now it's their 4th or 5th year of college. It takes sometimes some time to develop into that player. But you got to be able to go to a place where you can play, you can learn, you can, make mistakes and play through them and develop as a player. And that sometimes that's at a Division I school, sometimes a Division II, some Elijah Malone, NAIA school.
That's right.
So every player's got to find their own way. And I'm glad Trevor's found his way to Colorado. And we're lucky to have him, and we're fortunate to have him, and we're really happy to have him.
Yep, we're going to talk to him here in just a few minutes.
Yep.
You talked about kind of crafting this non-conference schedule, and there was purpose in it, trying to get this group, to learn and to play together and all the things they had to do in terms of evolving. And now you're jumping into the deep end of the pool.
Yeah.
I mean, this league is, Scott and I were talking about the air the other night, it is just a gauntlet every single night. And you look around this league, and anybody can win anywhere, and it's high level. How do you feel about kind of diving into this thing now that we're getting into it?
I told our team this the other day, Mark, and I know it's a coach's cliche, but it's about trying to win the next game. Because if I start looking ahead and say, okay, we got to go to Central Florida after Arizona State, and they just beat Texas Tech at home.
Right. And you got West Virginia.
And we got West Virginia
Kansas.
coming in. They just beat Kansas. If you start doing that as a player or coach, you're gonna
Yeah.
It's not. It's just how do we beat Arizona State? That's all we got to. And I'm gonna wake up. It'll be the middle of March, and that's just. I'm not gonna let myself kind of go there, and Ann will tell me where we're going on vacation, hopefully. So, but it is a gauntlet, and our guys understand that. It's one thing to talk about it, and that's why experience is the best teacher. You mentioned our non-conference schedule. We knew we had Maui. Yeah. Okay, that was the anchor, and we knew we were going to get 3 really good games there. Then we say, okay, Colorado State's coming here. That's always a big game. So we got 4. We have to learn how to win. Your players have to learn how to win, and you want to learn while you're winning. You don't want to learn from your losses. You want to learn from your wins. Right. And our non-conference schedule allowed us to do that. Now we dodged a bullet with Northern Colorado, double overtime. It's our second game. We could have lost that game. We didn't, thank goodness. But you knew with a new team and young guys coming back, Bangat Dak, Hassan Joe, R.J. Smith, the guys we've talked about, we really only have 2 returning players that have any experience. We had to learn how to win, and we did that. And I think it showed against Iowa State. The growth that we showed from the Iowa State game in Maui to the Iowa State game in Boulder, we showed growth.
Yes.
I mean, and we were right there again. We just got to take care of the ball and rebound the ball. We had the answer to the test before the test was given, but now Arizona State, what do we got to do to beat them? Better guard the ball, limit them to 1 shot, take care of it. They're going to pressure us just like Iowa State did. So I've got to play inside, got to get to the free throw line more. It's one of the few games where there was a huge differential in our 8 free throw attempts versus Iowa State's 27, I think it was, 26, whatever it was. I mean, we got to learn to get to the line. We got to go inside. We got to attack the rim, and we certainly all take jump shots. We have some good shooters in this team, but figure out a way to win that game.
The turnover issue. How do you address that? How do you work with your team on that?
We've had games where it's been really good.
Yes.
We've had some games where it's really incumbent upon each individual player to take pride. It's much like guarding the ball, defense man to man. Take pride in stopping that guy. Take pride in keeping him in front of you. Offensively, take pride in not having a turnover. Julian Hammond's we talked about Julian earlier. Julian had some games where 3 or 4 turnovers. I think over the last 4 or 5 games, he's had 2 or 3 turnovers.
He's 0 against Iowa State.
At 0 against Iowa State, and so a lot of our turnovers are coming from our big guys. Right. Now sometimes turnovers can be a little bit misleading as well. Hassan had a turnover and Bangat had a turnover that should have gone to the big guys they were trying to feed the post to because they didn't hold their seals. So, that's why you watch film. That's why you watch film with your players and to continue to grow and learn and get better. And that's what we're trying to do.
Before we let you go here,
Yeah.
we're going out to see Arizona State on Saturday. Give us a quick scouting report on the Sun Hills.
Yeah, they play 8 players. The 6 of their 8 are brand new. 3 freshmen that are extremely talented, really talented freshmen, and then 3 transfers who are very talented. So the one thing about Bobby Hurley's teams, since we've been here, they have talent. They have talent. Now, it doesn't always gel. It's different times of the year. You want to catch them. I think a lot of college basketball, people don't realize this, is not who you play. It's when you play them.
Sure.
And so playing Arizona State after they just got blown out by BYU, we're going to get 1 of 2 teams. We're going to get a team that's reeling, that's maybe a little not together, or we're going to get a team that's mad as hornets and has a coach that challenges them. I think we're going to get the latter, not the former. But his teams always play hard. They're talented, and you better guard them, and because they can make threes and they can get hot, and if they do that, it's tough to beat them. The game last year, as some of our friends here reminded me, was not real good last year.
Yeah.
So we gotta hopefully avenge for that. But we'll see.
You could go for the Hurley sweep. That'd be awful nice.
Yeah,
if
well,
you're able to do that.
let's just try to win this. I don't get into all that stuff.
Hey, good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
All right, head coach Tad Boyle. Trevor Basket is going to join us coming up next here. Senior forward for the Buffaloes as we continue on Buffs Prime Time here at Carelli's of Boulder on Thursday nights right here between 7 and 8 o'clock for Buffs Prime Time. Back in a moment. This is Colorado basketball from Learfield. Trevor Baskin highlight from that ball game against Iowa State the other night as the Buffaloes gave the number 3 team in the land a heck of a battle, ended up falling in that one. Now on the road this weekend. On Saturday, we'll be in Tempe to take on Arizona State at 4 o'clock. Scott and I are going to hit the air at 3:30 on the network. Our program brought to us by Molson Coors. Coors Light, choose chill. Proud partner of Colorado Athletics back here at Carelli's. And the young man from Arvada by way of Colorado Mesa, Trevor Baskin. How are you?
Doing well, doing well.
Good. Thanks for coming. First time he'd been to Carelli's here. I got up here and said, man, this is a great restaurant.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
And,
I was just a couple feet away all summer. I'm surprised I wasn't able to come here.
Okay, you were just over at the,
At the broker, yeah.
And you didn't never ate here?
Nah, I usually went a couple doors down to Cosmos.
College kid. And then I said, you should bring your lady friend here. And he said, well, I need to find a lady friend. And so I said we could probably open it up for interviews on the show. And he said, really, do you think 22-year-old college girls are listening to Sports Talk Radio? And I said, well, probably not. But moms and dads might be, and then anybody in the audience. If you got somebody candidates, maybe bring them up here later on, and we'll sift through things. How you enjoying your time here in Boulder?
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's just trying to soak up every moment I can for my last year of college, and it's pretty easy to enjoy living in Boulder and playing for the Buffs.
So take us through, go back. You're at Pomona High School, and you're getting recruited. Now, at the time, maybe things you hadn't matured enough maybe to play at this level, but kind of take us through that whole process and how you ended up going to Colorado Mesa. And did you have an eye? Being that the transfer portal's become a thing now, you kind of had your eye like, well, maybe someday I can go someplace.
Yeah, I mean, for me in high school, I was kind of an under-recruited kid, which for me was a little bit frustrating because I obviously wanted to play at the highest level. It's always been a dream of mine, but I also understood that Mesa was the only school that ever actually offered me a scholarship.
Really?
Yes.
The only one.
Yeah. So even the other RMAC schools, I got lucky and got the best option out of all the RMAC schools, and went on my visit and committed before my senior year. And
that kind of puts a chip on your shoulder, doesn't it?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, especially with the schools like Metro State, and I understood that my frame and my athleticism wasn't necessarily ready for this level. Like Coach Boyle said, I was skinnier than I was now. I was about.
So you were, how tall were you your senior year?
6'8", 6'9", but I was about $175.
Holy
I was
cow, man.
Oh yeah, you should have seen you think my arms are big now? You should have seen them then. So I was still frail. I understood I needed to do a lot of things to take the next step, but I had planned on staying at Mesa for all 4 years. I thought I wanted to be loyal to Coach DeGeorge because he gave me an opportunity, and to my teammates who I've loved and have been just an amazing part of my life, and I loved Mesa. But when my freshman year, when we were announced that we were given that 5th year of eligibility, I kind of had it in the back of my mind, like, oh, I could graduate transfer somewhere and use my last year of eligibility just because I kind of got lucky with that COVID year. And lo and behold, that's the way it worked out. I had amazing 4 years at Mesa and made some lifelong friends. 2 of them are former Buffaloes here, and so it was an amazing journey from Grand Junction to here.
So when you got to Grand Junction, then when did the I always say one of the most powerful substances in human history is testosterone. When did it kick in? You kind of start growing into your body then a little bit.
It didn't happen until sophomore going into junior year. I really took an approach to the weight room saying I need to get stronger. I need to be able to put on weight, and a lot of things transitioned. I became an even better athlete. I became just much stronger and was able to do things that I wasn't able to before. And I think that was kind of where I took my jump. I put on like 20 pounds that summer. Nice. I think part of it was I was a late bloomer in terms of puberty, so I think I finally stopped growing up a little bit, and then I finally got to at least fill out a little bit more than my slender frame was. But so that was a real big jump, and then I've just consistently been trying to put on more and more weight each summer to gain strength.
Being that your father was a very good player, like Tad was talking about, when did you finally get better than your dad on the court? Or have you?
Oh yeah. He can't even leave the ground. He's got metal plates in his back, so he's
okay, all right.
Yeah. He stopped playing me after my sophomore year of high school.
Is that right?
So it was before I was tall enough because my sophomore year I was about 6'1". So he knew as soon as, because he still couldn't move very well, so he knew as soon as I got tall enough to guard him, he stopped playing me. So I never beat my dad one-on-one. And I don't think he'll never play me again.
He retired undefeated.
He
against
retired
you,
undefeated.
All right.
Exactly.
I see the way that works. Now,
Yeah.
growing up just down the road here, did you grow up a Bus fan or?
Definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember going to some pretty crazy CU Buffs games. For basketball, I remember Andre Roberson. I don't remember what game it was, but he had a crazy block to seal the game from the 3-point line. I was like, that's a little random. So I remember going up, seeing Pete dancing on the floor. I remember that was, and I remember playing against him in AAU. So it was. Yeah, it was a very full circle moment being able to be on the court on my visit, just be like, oh hey, like this is just very familiar for me.
You know, it's funny you bring Pete up. I was down in San Antonio for the football game, obviously last week on the Riverwalk, and some guy stopped me. We were talking. He said, "Hey, where's that little kid that was always sweeping the floor at the basketball games?" I said, "Well, he's 6'8" or 6'9" now, and he was in here. And he's a senior, right? And he's senior in college. He was here for the exhibition game. And the guy's like, he's a 6 foot. I said, yeah, remember that was 8-10 years ago.
Yeah, you did eventually grow.
Yeah, eventually everyone else grows up, and looks like we're getting older. Well, that's awesome. It's been a good transition. How about that evolution at this level, like Tad was talking about? Everyone's talented. You're talented. Everyone on the court now is talented. What does that change in terms of your game out there?
Definitely. I mean, Coach Boyle brought it up earlier. It was like at Mesa there was things I could get away with because I was a little taller, a little more athletic than some of these guys, and that was definitely a bit of a growing pain for me, is like not being able to get away with stuff I could do, and I'd have to stay in a stance more. So
you can't cut corners here.
I can't cut corners, and so it was definitely a learning curve in terms of that, not being able to. Yeah, so that was definitely a.
You can never have a letdown in intensity at this level, can you?
No, never.
Because
never.
as soon as you do, someone's going to make you pay for that.
Good news is I would never have a letdown in intensity, but I would always just like I'd have to. I guess I'd let down in intensity in terms of staying in a stance and
maybe the mental acuity, right?
Yes.
Take a play off a little bit, and you
Definitely,
can't do that here, right?
No, definitely not. So you got to be retraining my brain to be locked in for every possession in every second is something that took time for me, especially in the summer. There was definitely some growing pains, and Coach Boyle and the coaching staff helped me get through it, and I knew that there were going to be growing pains, and that's just the way basketball is. I mean, every time you take a jump, there's going to be frustrations and stuff that you question certain things like, what am I doing wrong? And you just want to fix it, but you have to understand that it takes time and just trying to stay even keel and never too high, never too low.
I'd have to imagine that Mom and Dad find the trip a little bit easier. Instead of crossing the Rockies, they just get to drive up 93 up here to watch you play now.
Definitely, yeah. My dad appreciates it because my mom would never drive, but yeah, he always joked every single time he'd drive through Vale Pass, it would either be snowing or getting close to shut down. So I think he appreciates this now.
Now he just gets blown off Highway 93 when he drives.
Exactly.
There, right?
Now he's got to avoid getting blown off the road. But he does miss the being able to go and stop and ski on the way there, on the way back. But that's something he can still do. The mountains aren't going anywhere.
Trevor Baskin, he's going to join us one more segment. The women are on the road, so nobody from the women's team on. They're down in Waco getting ready for their game on Saturday. So let's go ahead and take another time out here at Carelli's. We're out here now Thursdays from 7 until 8 o'clock for Moss Prime Time. One more segment, Trevor Baskin after this. This is Colorado basketball from their field. He's dunking it. He's dropping dimes out there. Trevor Baskin joining us one more segment here on Bus Primetime, our final segment here from Carelli's. Colorado on the road against Arizona State on Saturday at 4 o'clock. We'll hit the air at 3:30 here on the network. You know, when you come aspect, there's also the personality deal of kind of getting involved with a group of guys. How's this roster evolution gone and transition gone for you as well?
I've honestly gotten really lucky.
Yeah. Good group of guys.
Amazing group of guys. For 5 years of college, you always hear horror stories of, oh, this teammate was a knucklehead, this teammate did that. But I've been extremely blessed with great teammates here, and I love every single one of them. And I'm ready to take on this battle of the Big 12 with all 17 of them.
Is there one of them that you kind of become very friendly with, like maybe hang out with a bit more, or is it just kind of a group deal?
A lot of, I hang out with all of them, but I'd say like Harrison's probably one I hang out with the most. Play Call of Duty and Fortnite, some video games here and there, and we go golfing.
Golfing.
Oh yeah.
Where do you find you're 6'9"? Where do you find clubs for being 6'9"?
Well, I played golf in high school, so I had to figure out how to. I ended up getting clubs fitted, extended. Shocker there, but so I was able to get some clubs that fit me pretty good, and by no means am I a very good golfer, but it's fun to get out and be outside for a little while.
How's Harrison?
He's pretty good.
Is he pretty good?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't. At some point, then, when the career's over, you know that head coach here is over there. He plays a little bit.
Oh yeah, I've been in his ear all the time about being able to golf at the country club with him. Every time I'm over at his house, I'm like, "Hey, coach, I'm one phone call away."
Well, Ann says, "Come on over. You can golf anytime."
Oh yeah. No, he said once I graduate, we can get
there
out.
You go.
But
there you go.
But yeah, so I'm excited.
Although if you're shanking it all over the Boulder Country Club, we don't need that either.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then the neighbors get mad, and
there's some nice houses. I gotta make sure. I gotta get some just off the tee box. I'll stick with my irons.
Now, do you live with one of the guys, or as an upperclassman, are you by yourself, or what's your living situation?
I actually live with one of my old teammates from Mesa.
Oh, okay.
He was he was the only freshman on our team last year, and really great kid. Kid doesn't mean he's 20, but he once our coach left to go to Cal Poly, he was just waiting around to see what was best for him, and he really just was done with basketball and was ready to just be a student. So after I committed, he said, "Hey man, like I might be going to see you," and I was like, "Do you want to live with me?" Because I'm a social guy, shocker there, but I don't like living by myself yet. Yeah. And I think that was something that I really wanted to do, is live with a buddy.
Well, I tell you what, you're a great guy on this team. Keep up the good work. Let's get a win on Saturday. How's that sound?
That's the plan.
Guys, let's hear it for Trevor Baskin. Here the Buffaloes play at Arizona State, 4 o'clock on Saturday. This is Colorado basketball from Learfield.